You talked about how we inherit sin from Adam. Why is this news so important for the person right now who's listening and they wrestle with sin? They're struggling with thumb-besetting sin, grasping this idea of the new creation being here, having a new identity united to Jesus. Why is that significant for them?
Here's the thing. If you're just united to Adam, you have no power over sin. It's always going to win. It's always going to be at the heart of your nature, at
You're
the
not
heart
even
of
gonna
your
fight it.
impulses.
Yeah.
You won't even have the desire to say no to it, even when you see that it's destroying you. So the only hope for people like you and me who have a bent toward sin is if this new creation does come and do a work inside us. And as it does, it begins to give us new desires. And it begins to give us fresh power for saying no to sin. The only way, I think about myself and lots of people about the idea of change. I think sometimes we have mixed feelings about change. There's a part of us that says, don't you be asking me to change, because I don't want, I'm comfortable the way I am. But then there's this other part of us that feels a great deal of fear. Maybe I can never change.
Shame.
And that's really scary if you are stuck, especially in a terrifying sin pattern. Well, let me tell you how change happens. Change happens as we are united to Christ by faith, and the power of his life, his righteous life, his sacrificial death, and his resurrection is applied to us.
That sounds like the Apostle Paul all over the place, but especially when he says, basically, I don't live. I have, in our culture, we are so about empowerment of the self. And, I am an individual, and I'm not going to let anybody define me. And here's Paul saying, Christ is so much my reference point. Being in Christ is so much my identity that it's not that I'm absorbed into him. I know I'm no longer a person, but my identity is hidden with God in Christ. In other words, his story has become my story. My story has become part of his story.
That's such good news, because here's his story, resurrection. Resurrection.
You want to write your story? Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
who could write that good of a story?
Yeah.
And so I want to be joined to him in his righteous life. I need his righteous life flowing into me, both
and imputed to you.
Imputed to me and changing me.
Yeah.
And I need resurrection hope for the future.
You're talking about justification and sanctification, two terms that we really emphasize on the program. Justification, declared righteous, sanctification, being gradually transformed into the likeness of Christ.